Hello, welcome to my Star Power Alchemy YouTube channel. My name is Alejandra Sofia and I'm a soul level astrologer, and I'm tuning into the week ahead astrologically. Today's December 3rd and tuning in until December 9th, 2018. This week is the week of the new moon in Sagittarius on Thursday, and this week is the week of Mercury stationing direct as well as Chiron stationing direct. So those are the 3 points to this week, and inside of these 3 points, a new moon and two planets moving directions, and they're moving direct instead of backwards. It makes it a really potent week of new beginnings and shifts and adjustments, really important adjustments that need to be made, and the kinds of adjustments that need to be made that you're aligning with your soul. That's what really wants to happen. That's what it's about. Scorpio is about reclaiming your lost places, reclaiming where parts of you have been remained hidden through suppression, repression, and any of those conditions that created the suppression and the repression. So past lives, ancestral karma, personal karma, all the places that you're blocking yourself and locking up your spirit, that are really up for renewal and redemption and the healing, the kind of self-connection that takes to get into those deep places inside your own soul, inside of your own sanctuary, yourself, who you are, these deep recesses of your brain, and rewiring yourself. So that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to making some kind of insightful link, an insight within yourself that offers you a release from your past conditioning. Any kind of conditions that imprinted upon you a false self that you took on unconsciously. So we're really dealing with the unconsciousness here because of the nature of this week. And so what's happening astrologically, and part of what makes this week so rich, is that we suddenly are now steeping in water. Mercury just moved back into Scorpio. It's taking its retrograde journey through the signs of Sag and Scorpio. It moved back into Scorpio, and Venus took her retrograde journey through the sign of Libra and the sign of Scorpio. I pronounce Libra, Libra. I find it much more empowering, a much more empowering pronunciation of the sign, which that sign is one of the signs that needs it the most. I'll leave that there. So she's taking that retrograde. She took that retrograde journey through the sign of Libra and Scorpio. So she's just moved back into the sign of Scorpio, and the dark moon this week. Right now, we are in the dark moon in the sign of Scorpio. So we're suddenly inundated in water. With Venus in Libra and then Mercury in Sag, and it was just, things were a little bit more lighter and on the surface in one regard, but the thing, what the potency here is, what the potential is here, is that, being on the surface, if you're on the surface with yourself in a way that's not really you, and it's attacking your nervous system, if you got any kind of chronic anxiety or chronic syndromes, the things that where you're not feeling at peace, you're not feeling that calm, you're not feeling that wholeness, you're not feeling yourself in your sanity, in your soundness, if you're feeling that these untapped regions of yourself that continue to be like blind spots, right? It's about these blind spots. It's about these, these self-mysteries, these mysteries of who you are, and anything that went down in your early childhood that needs questioning, that needs to be resolved, like truly resolved, not put into a box and avoided and saying I'm too old, or it's, I'm too old to be dealing with that anymore, and shutting it down. It's about opening up these places in you that want to be felt, that want to be heard by you. And that's the most important person that needs to hear the sound of your own soul crying, feeling its way through you. It is about breaking through, and I'm bringing these parts up intensely because of Mercury going back into the galactic degree frequencies of Scorpio. The galactic degree frequencies are the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th of each degree. I think actually no, it's the 28th, 29th, and 30th of each degree, each sign journey. So there's the sign journeys, and then there's the degrees and the degree frequencies. There are 30 degree frequencies, and those 30 degrees flow through each sign. So the degree frequency is a whole other level in astrology now. Now we're going into deeper territory. And the degree frequency of 28 degrees is where Mercury's stationing in Scorpio this week and moving direct. And it's the same frequency, 28. I round up to the next degree, and the 20th degree frequency of Pisces is where Chiron, the wounded healer, is retrograding back to and stationing its last time in the sign of Pisces, and it's going to station and move direct. So something, because of the nature of stationing, and stationing's a slowing down, stationing's a, like, you know, it's like a finding that acupuncture point. The acupuncture is finding that point and hitting it directly. That's the nature of this week, of where something is being hit directly inside of your own soul, of that is it's redemptive. There's a beautiful trine happening between Mercury and Chiron in the same degree. It's an exact trine, and we're getting an exact trine today. And we're getting another exact trine with Mercury and Chiron on the other side of their moving direct. Once they move direct, and then we get another Mercury trine Chiron on Sunday. And this trine, the Mercury and Chiron trine, is trining the North Node in Cancer. So we actually do have a grand water trine right now. It's just that it's not an official grand water trine like with 3 planets. It's involving the North Node, and it's involving 2 planets, Mercury and Chiron. So this whole week is about this trine that's stationing. We've got a water trine, Mercury and Chiron stationing at 28 degrees. And the 28 degree frequency is the key phrase there is the spiritual athlete. So there's something in that degree frequency where it's that place in you that is seeking victory over your own, the part in you. This is my attunement to that degree frequency, the part of you that needs to overcome yourself. The part, and it's not seeking victory. It's not victory in the world. It may lead to victory in the world, but it's truly the victory of your own spirit truly inhabiting your body, that allows you to let go of these outer forms of approval, of these incessant knots of being tied under and tied down and in the tide of past imprints and impressions, that is really you only seeking love, that child in you. This is the territory of the child that continues to live on. And this is who wants to be healed. That is who Chiron, the wounded healer, and the whole story of Chiron, the wounded healer. The wounds happen in early childhood. It's not to say that trauma can't happen in adulthood, because it can, but it's truly like these deep layers of our physical body that hold the blueprint of our wholeness, of our nature, and that's how trauma gets into our body. It's through our emotional body. It's through the survival blueprint, and the need to survive, the want to survive. And part of how we really survive is well, in terms of being, in terms of the human being, it's not enough to just survive. It's we want to thrive. We want to really create the conditions that allow for our most optimal outcome, right? And so in that desire that's really held in our blueprint, it is there. It's innate in all of us. And I really believe that. It's just a part of what it is to be human. There's the traumas and the distortions, the insanity, the not being met in your environment in a way that holds you in your uniqueness and supports you in your uniqueness. So if you didn't get the kind of support you needed in your early childhood, or any of those places in your life that you're constantly in memoriam of, places that where you hold and hurt, and it's really where places in you got lost. That's part of what's happening with the child is constantly going through the story. And I say the child because of we have the with this rich watery territory that we're inside of this week. We actually have 3 planets in Pisces right now, but it's Neptune and Chiron that are taking they're on a journey through the sign of Pisces for a few years. That Chiron is completing in 2019. Pisces rules the child, and the child cannot be without a family. The child always needs a family. A child cannot survive on its own outside of the mother's womb. And so the story of Pisces, the story of the moon, that what's inside of it mythically is the story of the child and the family. So with Mercury going back into the sign of Scorpio, and Venus now really empowering herself through the sign of Scorpio as she's coming through her retrograde path, and she's still inside of the degrees that she's been going she went retrograde inside of, between 26 Libra and 11 degrees Scorpio. So she's now at the 1st degree of Scorpio, and so there's an empowering happening too, and it's an empowering of love. This is Venus. This is your soul. Your soul wants to unite with you, and it's going to take this. I mean, there's this whole mystery unfolding inside the sign of Scorpio, the parts of you that got repressed, suppressed, didn't get nurtured, didn't get encouraged, that got whatever, any part of you that you may have put out if you put anything out in your environment that got shut down in one way or another through tribal conditioning, through the cultural conditioning, through all the ways that traumas and entrapments lay over the soul and the spirit and extinguish who you really are. So it really is about you coming into your own renewal, your own connection to yourself, and also in this time in which it is true that there is a lot more availability in a family circle, in any kind of circle of healing, any kind of groups that allow for you to come out in ways that are where people accept you, where people appreciate you, where there is a higher quality of language and exchange. Like there are more of that is available now, and than ever before. I mean, there's a lot of everything, right, than ever before. Everything has increased. Pain has increased and love has increased. Like both extremes are happening at the same time. Like it's getting worse and it's getting better. So in addressing what's getting better, and especially in the soul group, the group on the planet that really is working on themselves, that's really is turning towards themselves, and I believe anyone who's watching this is likely a part of that group, who's really wanting to put a deeper ear into the sanctuary of your own soul and emerge from your own darkness. That's Scorpio. Scorpio wants to emerge from darkness, and Scorpio has the magic. Scorpio has desire. Scorpio has a passion to it. It's part of the passion corridor of the sign journeys of the zodiac. So the sign of Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius is a sector of the sign journeys. It's a quarter of the sign wheel that really holds a lot of power and passion for you to live your life from yourself, from you being all of who you are and bringing it out into the open and sharing your art, sharing your heart, sharing your creativity, and really tapping into these deep desire, this deep desire that allows for you to choose the pathways that are really your optimal pathways for your best outcome. you know, and that's really what's, as we're going in to this, so, you know, being in this dark moon right now in the sign of Scorpio, with Mercury there, Venus there, and then a rebirthing there. So there's a real going inward right now, mulching, deep mulching, metamorphosizing, but it's like the linkage you need, the insight you need to heal something, let something go, that allows for illumination and understanding, a self-understanding that is a self-connection. That is what's vital. You connecting to you. You are so vital to you. You are the star of your show, and there is no other you. And that has to be removed from a place of cliche and really embodied of like, you are unique, and you to really tap into you for yourself. That allows you to drink deeply of your own soul, to take advantage of this opportunity that is life or death, and release something that needs to die so that you can live, so that you can breathe, so that you can be alive, and choose new doorways to go through, which is what the new moon in Sagittarius is all about. This is the first new moon in Sag of this year of 2018. We usually only get one new moon in Sag, and this year we have Jupiter in Sagittarius. So it's a real potent, like, here we are in these dark places right now, but they're healing places. They're got to be alone and make some kind of inner connection to self that allows for you some place in you that continues to be unborn, that needs to be birthed. And that's what the new moon in Sag is in resonation with the Jupiter in Sag. It's in a long conjunction to it, but it's still there. And because Jupiter is in its own sign, it really is about these new gateways opening up for you. You choosing new pathways, and it's also in response to the times and the needs of the times. There is a clock ticking. There is a very real clock ticking, and it's not to add stress to the situation. It's to really acknowledge the way in which, you know, time is clicking away, and time is a construct, but there is a sequence of events happening, and there's cause and effect. And the more you can claim your source, your prime source, the more you can reclaim your life. You participate in the cause. And there is a great cause that's continuing to emerge and be, and I'm hearing it more and more about, you know, where humanity is at this point, that we've really got to get our shit together, or it's heading a really bad direction. It's heading towards a, you know, not a desirable outcome. So I believe we are upon a time where many people are going to suddenly get their power, all these ahas, all these like, oh, you know, just truly throwing away these outer constructs of power, of outer constructs of God outside of us as powerful, and any kind of government, anything that where you're holding power outside of yourself, and continue to project that outwards. This is a time of you claiming your presence, that your presence is power. And we've got with this new moon in Sag, it's the last new moon of the year, of the natural new year. And the new natural year begins on December 21st. And then we're going to have another new moon, and that's the first new moon of the year, and that's on January 6th. And that's that's a powerful gateway, what we're coming into. I really believe we're in a time where people are coming together, because Sag wants meaning. Sag loves meaning. Sag wants to go beyond these, it desires to not be constrained inside of anything that's not itself. So that's where Sag is notoriously like non-committal. Well, it doesn't want to commit to anything that's going to keep it behind bars. It wants creative freedom. Sag is filled with love and life, and love for life and for art, and Sag is the artist, and we all have an artist inside of us. We all have an artist inside of us. Every one of us. Spirit is an artist. Your spirit is an artist, and the more you wake up to that, the more you awaken through your belly core and into the fire of your mind, your spiritual fire, waking up inside your own heart to this amazing opportunity that you have as you gaze upon the marvel that you are, and you really feel that fervor inside of you, it's going to propel you in new directions of you believing in you believing in your own magic, you believing in your own visions that come through you of things that you want to do. And I guarantee the more that we activate from our hearts, there's going to be a lot more creativity expressed on the planet, people coming together, because that's the way spirit works. We have to come together. And Sagittarius being ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet that's about the big family. That's the thing. So I brought up the moon. We're always the moon. We are the child, and the child is always seeking the family. We're inundated with family, where there is only a family tree happening on the planet. We are all related to each other. There's just no way around it. Like we're getting out of, there's at least some people on the planet that are getting out of the disease that Descartes and Newtonian physics and the church brought upon humanity. Any kind of ideas that continue to separate the soul from the body are dying, and they're dying fast in a group of people on the planet. And that I'm feeling like is probably at least about 1 billion. I don't know. I'm just throwing out some numbers of what I feel, of what I intuit, but that number is continuing to grow because there's a sacred we that helps each other unlock other doors inside of our own soul. And I really believe that it's as more people are reclaiming their fire, as you're claiming your life for yourself, you're going to come into connection with other people, because that's how Jupiter works. Jupiter's not alone in the room, in its own room, in its own house. Jupiter wants to get out and meet the global village. And so with Jupiter in Sag and this new moon in Sag, it is about widening your circle, the greater hoop of you coming even more into more involvement with humanity to help address the cause of really wanting love for the planet, really wanting a positive outcome. So your contribution, Jupiter is contribution oriented. So as you're tapping into yourself and you're tapping into your heart and you're making this healing, these important healings inside of yourself that are you connecting with your truth, that allows you to contribute from places that are meaningful to you and give you life and give other people life. So enjoy this new moon, and please check me out at www.starpoweralchemy.com. You can also find me on Instagram at starpoweralchemy and IGTV and Facebook. Star Power Alchemy. Thank you, and in Lakesh.